Hello Internet people. As you may already know, our team is working on migrating the Copper build results into Pulp because we want to relieve ourselves from some maintenance burden. There is a tens of terabytes of data and maintaining it is quite painful. So we would like to offload that to Pulp. We are so close to start the migration. Actually, we already migrated some of our team projects into Pulp, and everything seems to work fine. At this point, we want to migrate this user project. We already contacted the person and they are fine with that. But we needed to make an agreement that they don't submit any builds or any actions to the project while we are going to migrate it, because our migration script isn't that robust at the moment. It can start the migrate. It can go through all of the results that we store on backend and migrate them. But what happens if, for example, the project owner clicks to delete some of the builds, and we, for example, already migrated the builds to the new repo, and then the action happens and we delete the builds from the old backend repo, but they are already migrated into Pulp, so they don't disappear actually. You can see bugs like this. So we needed to make an agreement so that they don't do any actions within the project while we are going to while we are migrating. Now, this of course isn't useful when we start to mass migrate everyone or every project. So we need to make the system better. I want to start. There is a ticket for that, by the way. This one. Users shouldn't know that they are being migrated, because this change isn't relevant to users. Actually, they shouldn't even notice the data are elsewhere. Everything should be seamless. So there is the card for that. But I want to start working on this like very slowly, and only do it in a stupid way, but have some insurance in the code that actually the tasks, builds or actions for this project aren't processed. Then I will put the patches here in the ticket, and whoever is going to implement this properly could use the patches and build on top of that. So my idea is to actually allow the user to do any actions, for example, click the delete, build, or whatever, but they won't be processed during that time. Okay, so we have two places where to implement this: Copper frontend or Copper backend. Copper frontend would be easier, in my opinion, but the problem is the migration script is executed from backend. So we don't want to have like the exclusion at one place and running the script from other place. That would complicate the migration. So we need to tackle this issue on Copper backend. So I think the build and action dispatchers should, when they fetch all the new tasks from frontend, they should filter it, and if they find any action or build related to this project, they should just throw it away. So that's what we are going to figure out right now. Okay, so let's go here. And I should have probably blurred this out because I don't want to show you all my downloads. Okay, so I don't know. For example, when we run action dispatcher, we run it like this. So run dispatcher actions. Let's try to find the code. Dispatcher action dispatcher. So here's I think this is the daemon that is being called. And you can see get frontend tasks. And it actually returns a list of tasks for the actions. So this seems very, very straightforward. Maybe we can filter it right here. Let's take a look. So if we kill the process, we are right in the debugger. Let's run it again, and I think if we take a look at the logs, it should query the front end, and then we should get back into the debugger, I think. So let's give it a sec for another round. Okay, so we queried front end and we are in the debugger. So this works perfectly. We probably don't have any actions though. Raw actions. See, no actions. So we will try to go into our local Pulp instance, log in, and for example go to, I don't know, instance foo project, and we will try to, I don't know, maybe enable a new chroot, for example, update. This should generate an action. So I think if we jump, do we have it right now? We already have it. Good. So we can filter, but I think this is the problem actually. This is not useful for us very much because we only know this. So this is not the correct place. We need to go to a place where this is getting fetched. The whole action is getting fetched. So maybe it will be actually backend dispatcher, which is a part of a dispatcher. So now we are in a Copper common, and I cannot edit this file because we jump to the definition. It is not inside of the project. So I will find it differently. So this is this copper dispatcher in common. This is the same file. So you can see get frontend tasks. This is implemented by the children of this class. And run. Actually, run is kind of too late. Isn't it? Isn't there a better place? Get frontend tasks is called where? In run. Oh, because in run it's not run the I should have read the docs thing. It isn't the run the action, it's run the dispatcher. So actually this is not too late. We get all the tasks, sure. This is only the list of IDs as we know and their priority. Cancel dump queue. Worker manager run. So I think we still this is not the useful place either. I think if we jump here, kill this, run again, now we are in the dispatcher 1 2 3 line. Nice. And we do I should put it maybe at a different place, but whatever. If we for example task, what's tasks? It's only the IDs. Yeah, we don't have any more information here. This is not the right place either. We need to we run the worker manager run. What's this? So this is worker manager inside of copper common. Okay. What do we do here? Start worker. We can allocate some workers if there is something to do. No more tasks, limits, start worker for task. Okay, at this point, do we know more about the task? No, we still operate with only the ID. So start worker. This is getting more complicated than I wanted to be, but never mind. Okay, so calculate limits. Only, but limits should actually, limits could be a good place for it actually. That's cool. So I don't want to lose this, but if you open new copper, and is there some worker manager, maybe limit job queue self limits? Okay, so let's take a look at limits. Is limits or no limits? So where is this getting used? So for example, actions, worker manager actions. Okay, so I'm finally maybe getting into something interesting. Worker action, worker manager. finish task, start task. Actions probably don't have limits though. Builds probably have them only. So build worker, if we take a look at this and search for limits, no. Where are the limits? So git grab limit in backend. See, user SSH limit, build tag limit. This is maybe useful. This is all related to builds, but we could use the same for actions if we wanted to. So build dispatcher. No, not test. So here, and we search for limit. Architecture, oh my god. Sorry about the buzzing, it was a notification. So for example, if we take a look, how is this used? To be honest, this part of the code is very good, but it doesn't require changes very often, so I don't have it in my operational memory. So I don't know, if we take a look at this, a limit number of machines, of course, but how is this? So this generates a hash based on the job owner of OK, but the fun part is like, where is the number actually for this? Tag limit. Oh, this is in a config file. And this is actually just generates the hash for every job. Okay. I think this could be the place, but like for the proper implementation. See, for example, limit type in sandbox or owner, hash worker limit. Could we abuse this actually? Could we define our also, is there like not a hash limit, but some predicate limit? Worker limit, string counter. When string is none, we don't count it. So could this be used? Hash worker limit, job queue. Is the string, where is the string counter used? Groups. Okay, so we actually only used this limit. But let's try this. So if we take this chunk, put it right here, do hash worker limit and limit type. What's limit type? Okay, owner sandbox. So can I put anything here? For example, Pulp migration, for example, and get other x limit. What's this is doing? What is this doing? So get other x. What's x? That's the argument here. Yeah, this is from config. So this is definitely 0. But I don't know what is going to be passed as the argument. If we take a look at this, it's a hasher, so that's function and limit, and the name is optional actually, and the hasher function, so this is here, hasher task, so how is this defined then? This defines the hasher, okay. Okay, so let's do it maybe then differently. If we take a specific architecture, we give to a copper owner. predicate work limit. Actually, this is what I was trying to find. I was looking at the wrong place or what? This is actually what. Yeah, this looks like we need this. So if we copy this one, pulp migration limit will be predicate, and does it need the parameter? Let's say it does, but I think we don't need any. Let's do foo, and let's do limit, and x equals foo, so predicate, not arch, but pulp migration. And I want a debugger right here, so this is good. And what's this file? I think we want worker. We want the place where this is being used, which is build dispatcher. Build dispatcher here. Oh yes, this one. We were trying to half-ass this, and we need what if we append pulp migration limit which takes foo and limit. So we think it will be none and 0, not the name. So we think it should be something like this, right? Now we need to import this. So pulp migration limit. The none will, of course, maybe we can, since it is being created like this, I think we don't need the argument. And we don't need the limit either, right? So maybe we can do this. And we don't have to take any parameters here, and we can probably just limit equals 0, right? We can ignore this error, but we cannot ignore this. So the name will be just pulp migration without any format. And yeah, this won't trace back because we have the debugger earlier. Good. Now we are talking builds, not. And here we go again. We're talking builds, not actions. So. So we obviously need to submit a build. Fucking hell. got into the debugger. That's a good news. And if we print X, it's still that's not how type X. Oh, okay. This maybe fucked us really well at the during the action debugging, because I thought we are getting integers, but this is actually a class. So maybe we didn't have to do something as complicated as the limits. Okay. Oh my god. X. Does it have full name? Does it have owner? And does it have project or copper? So X dict project owner sandbox. It doesn't actually have that's ridiculous, but what can we do? Sandbox could be used maybe. Who does calculate the sandbox? I think it is calculated by front end. Just a quick check. If we go to models on front end and try to find sandbox, def sandbox. So yeah, this is calculated on front end, so it will be hard to compare this on back end if we don't know with what. So it would be much better if the task actually contained a project name, but we can do with the project owner. It is strange that we have owner though. What's the class name? So this is build queue task. If we go git grab build queue task is in RPM build, so this is here. Build queue task. Okay, this is the one. So it defines build ID, background, the priority, owner, okay, the tags, requested architecture, sandbox, okay. So it's just pretty wrapper for our project owner field. Okay. Maybe it would be possible to calculate the project name from the sandbox, because obviously the first part is actually full name, so it will be project owner / project name, right? What's the sandbox? Yes, exactly. Project name dash submitter. Yeah, so actually this is the foo is project name, right? Of course. So yeah, we could do that, but I don't want to do that. We will can you? Maybe we will do that actually. can you create a new project that has 2 dashes? So full bar like this. Okay, you can, so we will not do that. Okay. Yeah, no. We could, we won't. That's too much hassle. We will block the whole user instead. So I was at our somewhere here should be the migration, Pulp migration, yeah. Limit. And if the X is in, X owner is in our migrated list of users, then true. So I think like this. So if we remove the breakpoint and just kill this and run again, I think our build should never be actually executed. So but our other build from a different user actually should be executed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a private window, go to here, but this time log in as a different user. The sad part is no, we cannot do that because we cannot do that because the login on localhost sucks since we switched to OIDC. But what we can do is actually log out and be a different user here when running the server. This is just debugging, of course. Now we can log in and we are JDO, so we can go to our projects as JDO and we can John Doe, James Doe, Timothy Doe. We can dist-git and submit a build. So this build should get processed, while this shouldn't. And that will be our confirmation that the limit works correctly, right? So I'm going to be, and we will wait until it's finished in the meantime. So how are we looking? The JDO build finished and our build didn't get started, so perfect. This is exactly what we needed to do. Now we need to do the same for actions. This will be probably a slightly more complicated because all these limits that we use are used only for builds, I think. So for actions we will have to figure out how to pass the limits there, but they are both build dispatcher and action dispatcher are implemented in the same way, so it should be possible to pass the limits to actions. It should be easy. It just will be a precedent for actions, so we will need to set that one out. Also, my music playlist finished, so we will find something good. Okay. What if we just look for action? We need action dispatcher. Git grab action dispatcher. So this is in action dispatcher file. Action, I cannot write action dispatcher, right? Yeah, by the way, we can easily check if easily check if we fucked up or not. So I will do return foo equals this, and I'll put this breakpoint here, and now we will run the dispatcher again, and we have foo, which is this. Foo0 is just this, and what's the type? So it's this, and we have the owner here, right? We don't. And do we have anything? Oh, we don't actually. Okay, we didn't fuck up. Good. Okay, so let's get this back to the previous shape. Should be no change. Yeah, no change in this file. So in the init of build dispatcher, we configure the limit. So what if we do the same here? So in the here we will append the Pulp migration limit, and we need to import it from slightly inconvenient file, since it is supposed to be an RPM build related one, but whatevs. This is only temporary measure, because once the migration is done, it is done, and we can remove this. So Pulp migration limit, and we are adding it here. Pretty, and that should be all. Now if we, so you can see we have these 3 actions, and we should be able to see them on front end. So if we go to backend, pending jobs. Okay, this is not ideal, this is the build job. So pending actions, these 3. We don't know the owner of the action, but we could query the database to find out if we needed to. But the important thing is there are 3 of them. Once we start the dispatcher, 1 or 2 or some of them should get processed, maybe. No, let's take a look what those are actually before we start randomly shooting again around ourselves. So select everything from action where ID equals this one. So this is something for the Frostix project. This probably means adding the root that we did to test. Same, but different roots. Okay. We could figure it out based from the action type, but I don't really care. I only care about the project it is in. And this one is also for the same project. And I'm starting to think this will not work. This will not work because the dispatcher won't have that much. I think this will not be available. Let's put the debugger here and start the action. We are in the predicate ppx, but dict. This is an action object. Okay. Okay, so if we do task, no. Okay, action queue task. Action queue task. Action queue task is in actions. Action queue task. Fucking hell. We don't know. So the actions are much harder to figure out. I'm sorry. Yeah, only spam. Well, we cannot even like not start the action because we only get the information we need after we start it. So we can start it and let it rot, but that's not very good. We could of course send more data from front end, but that won't be an easy fix. But also it will send more data, which is a problem when we have like mass rebuilds with thousands of builds. This is only regarding actions, so maybe that won't be a problem, but I suppose it will be. So because like the performance issues of we needed to tune out the performance of this particular dispatching like very precisely, so I don't want to just randomly send more data. get task, and it's finishing. If we take a look at this file, action, it should handle task, which is handle action, which means get the action. Only here we know the full action information. And only here we can like compare the the owner name. So I think we are hitting a dead end because there is no good way, no simple, straightforward way to do this. We need to choose an approach out of possible options, and accept the trade-offs of that approach. And I don't want to choose the approach without any discussion and go with it. So we will stop right here and commit all this. We actually fixed or solved the issue for builds. So we can start the discussion if we want to solve the same for actions, and then how. If adding the field on front end would be the solution, or something else would be, I don't know. So we will start the discussion by this. Let's git stash this, git checkout main, and git pull rebase, and git checkout b, pulp migration limits, and git stash pop. So we have this change, of course wrong description. Limit the currently migrated projects limit the currently migrated projects to 0. Okay, so be it. Here. Don't start builds in any projects that are currently being migrated to Pulp. Okay. So we'll add this and this. And this is the action dispatcher. And okay, we can import it. And we can write the comment there. So in ideal world, it would be oh, what am I doing? I wanted to copy paste this actually. So don't start actions. We are not starting actions. We are starting builds, but we are not starting actions. I mean, we are starting them, but it's not the term that we use. We perform actions or process actions. But builds actually has a starting state. So don't process actions in any project that are currently being migrated to Pulp. And fix me. This doesn't work because the oh, by the way, I see the breakpoint here. This needs to be removed. This doesn't work because the what's the action queue task only knows the action ID and priority, not the project name or owner. Okay. We can stage this. We can commit this. So this will be backend. Don't run builds or actions in projects that are migrated to Pulp. We will need to shorten this a little because it's a commit message title and it needs to be 80 characters or something. So we cannot put the full pretty English sentence there. And this is related to these two tickets. It doesn't solve them, but it's related to them. Like this. We'll commit this and we will push this into our remote, not the origin one, and we'll create a pull request. So like this. See, it was too long anyway. Pulp like this, and we need to create this as a draft because it doesn't fully work. Last check of the code. So importing the pulp migration limit and appending it. That is the fix me. Importing the limit and using it. And we define the limit. The first things here. We need to put a to-do there. We need to put a to-do there, which is here. To-do, read the list of currently migrated owners / projects from somewhere, probably a file. And we will squash this into the original pull commit, and we will push this. We don't want to reload the page because then it would break our title and so on, but it's committed, so once we create the pull request, it will be there, the modified change. So is it here? It is here. So we have the pull request. Now I could start the discussion here, but it will probably be easier to start it off list just with the team members in Czech language, so we can like communicate on the topic more precisely and actually faster, since it will not be on a website but in chat. So yeah, I will ping the team off list. Let's finish the recording now. I'm curious to see if we chose at least a half decent approach or it's complete shit. We will see. We will see later. All right. See you around. Bye bye, and see you next time.